Welcome to the next episode of WaterparkRanger's Let's Play Pikmin. In the last episode, we finished getting all the ship parts from the distant spring, so that leaves only one more ship part left in the newly unlocked and final area, the final trial. But then why would we be going back to the impact site of all places? I mean, we cleared this area before anywhere else. Well, the reason we're back here is because there are a couple of rare enemies that only appear in certain areas on certain days, and if we were to finish the game right now, which we could, we'd be missing out on these enemies, and they don't appear in Pikmin 2. So, it's gonna feel kind of like a lost cause if we don't go after them now. I'd just like to show you them. I mean, they will appear in the enemy reel, but I think it would be more fun if we just fought them so that you could get a better idea of what they're about. The first one on our list obviously appears here at the impact site on every odd-numbered day after day 5. So, day 11 we should be able to encounter it. And no, it is not an iridescent flint beetle, though those are lots of fun to fight. A little interesting thing about the flint beetle, and this is, for people who might be trying to set challenge mode records or something, is that you can actually flip it over about 6 times. You'll know you've gotten the max amount of things out of the flint beetle that you can if you manage to get 2 5 pellets out of it. And remember, I'm just talking about this in Pikmin 1. It might be different in Pikmin 2, it's been a while, so I'll have to check again. Anyway, a large number of blues are advised to fight this enemy, because it's actually the only enemy in the game that uses water as, well, a means of damaging your Pikmin. Any other Pikmin that touches it will pretty much run around like with a bubble on their head, and the effect is basically the same as if they're caught on fire. You can whistle them to save them, but if you're not very quick about it, they will die very quickly, just in a couple of seconds. And it's kind of frustrating to get all the Pikmin up here, but I've managed to do it finally. So we walk into the center of the stump and trigger its appearance. Oh yeah, whenever Olimar touches it, he takes damage. So it's called a Goolix. It's basically like a giant cell or an amoeba or something like that. And you just have to swarm the Pikmin around that blue nucleus or whatever to damage it. And if you throw Pikmin onto the other one, it does like a little bit more damage, I think. They won't swarm onto it, but you can throw them onto it. So I'm going to try that right now. Do a little bit more damage just to show you how much damage it does. What? Okay. I don't remember it ever doing that much damage. We just, like, exploded it. That was hilarious. Wow, it's amazing that I had that recorded. So yeah, that's the Goolix for you. That's the first enemy. 11 days since impact. Hope has begun to well up within me for the Dolphins prepare and my own chances for a reunion with my dear family. Tomorrow I shall go forth with a new attitude and continue my exploration in a different region. I hope that fortune will smile upon me. Actually, Olimar, we're not going to continue the exploration in a different region because an enemy will appear on even-numbered days of the impact site as well, so we are going back there tomorrow. Alright, so a few things to note about this new enemy. It actually does appear in Pikmin 2, so I guess when I said that these enemies only appear in Pikmin 1, I was lying. Only for this one, though. I know all the others don't appear in Pikmin 2. Anyway, in Pikmin 2, this enemy is a little bit more vicious and will go after your Pikmin actively. But in both games, it actually can't kill Pikmin, it just plants them and turns them into flowers. This attack, though, will damage Olimar, but if you're in need of getting, like, your Pikmin to be flowers or something, and for some reason you don't want to use Nectar, which I honestly think is much faster, it's always possible to just go to this enemy on an even-numbered day at the impact site, and then get your Pikmin planted by it, just by standing in front of it. The Pikmin will attack it before it attacks them. Like, it's a very, very harmless enemy. It's a very well-meaning enemy. I guess harmless isn't the perfect word, seeing as it can technically kill Olimar if you're being an idiot. Oh yeah, whenever it plants Pikmin, if you try to pluck them out, it gets really mad, and like, it really hates when you pull out the Pikmin that it plants. I don't know if we're going to have the chance to actually see that, because I'm intending to kill it pretty quickly. It's really weird though, look, it's got like claws, and it's like a stone monster of some sort. Really interesting. But see, it's not attacking us until we attack it. Then it completely flips out. Psh, see, look, it planted them. And now it kind of just like sits back after it plants them in the ground. But it goes back to attacking as soon as we hit it again. So that's the way this enemy works. It's really not that strong. It's called a Mamuta. I don't think I mentioned. But yeah, that's all there is to it. And I'm just going to cut ahead to the end of this day. That way you don't have to watch me pulling every Pikmin that it planted. 12 days since impact. It is very strange. The scenery of this planet, which I once found hostile, now sometimes strikes me as surprisingly serene. Perhaps the Pikmin have opened my heart to the beauty of this world. I even started thinking that there were some parts I do not need. A daydream. Olimar, if I had $1 for, like, every time that you said that maybe there wasn't a part that you didn't need, I'd have, like, $5 or $6. Like, I don't know how many times that's happened on this Let's Play, but I feel like he's mentioned it way more than once, for sure. A lot more than even the 100 Pikmin in a field message. Alright, this last hidden enemy is found in the distant spring, but it will disappear permanently, after day 15. And on the day that you activate it, or get basically awaken it, I guess you could say, it will never appear again after that day, regardless of whether you defeat it or not. So it really is a one-time kind of thing. So basically the idea is don't mess up, which is admittedly kind of difficult to do, especially if you're not great at the game, because this is easily the most dangerous enemy in the series, I think. Yes, all two of them. Probably the most dangerous enemy in the series. So it's this big egg here. This will disappear from day 15 onwards, so you kind of have to like brush up against it a few times. Then it'll shake and explode. And this comes out of it. This enemy is called the Smoky Progg, and it's basically like the Pikmin equivalent of Gygus from Earthbound, I guess you could say. That thing behind it, the trail it's leaving, is instant death for any Pikmin that touches it, so keep them clear of that for sure. Apparently it's supposed to be a deformed larval Mamuta, and I guess that makes enough sense considering the eyes maybe are sort of in that position. It's certainly deformed, whatever it is, and yeah, it's really dangerous. Just, you can only throw the Pikmin at the head. Don't swarm it. They will all die if you swarm it. You can only throw them at the face to damage it. And what's worse is it actually just stays around your landing site, just around the onions, which is really dangerous, especially if you activate it by mistake, by like brushing up against the egg, thinking that you haven't done anything, and then coming back during the day when you're coming back ship parts or something and seeing this huge, like, giant green frog mutant thing just destroying all of your Pikmin. That's mainly why it's such a big threat, I guess you could say. So you always want to be careful in the distant spring to make sure that, oh, whoa, this is not a good idea. Oh no, I should have used blues. Why was I using reds? Attack power doesn't mean crap when they just get steamrolled like that. Wow. I can't tell what did them in there, the drowning or the Smoky Progg itself. And you might see that it's like leaning up and going like and releasing shockwaves of some sort. Well, those are really special shockwaves. They will uproot Pikmin that are planted in the ground. That's why they do them underneath the onions, because if there are any Pikmin planted there, they'll be uprooted and they'll immediately run towards the Progg and basically dying. And wow, I'm not doing good against this guy at all. He's difficult, very difficult. Doesn't help that there are some other enemies like Puppy Bullhog, some around here that are kind of making me nervous. As soon as he throws them off, try and call him back, because otherwise they usually fall right in front of him, and usually he'll just run right over them as soon as he throws them off. It's not easy to fight this guy, I'm not gonna lie. That's why he's optional. And I don't know if this guy's a boss or not, because, like I might have said in another video, or maybe some other series, another Let's Play, I don't really know how to classify all bosses. Usually I think a boss should have its own unique theme, and I don't consider the Goolix or Mamuta to be bosses, really. They're just strong enemies, and I guess you could say the same thing about this guy, if you're using that kind of classification. A lot of people consider him a secret boss, though. If so, then he's the only really secret boss in the game. Except for people who think that Goolix and Mamuta are bosses, and I can't understand why, if Goolix can be, like, KO'd in one hit like he was right there. This guy is really What was that random backflip for? I think we're probably going to be able to take him out, though. So far, I think we've lost, like, about 30 Pikmin. Yeah, also, whenever you're fighting him, it seems like the counter just completely glitches up. Because it's saying we have 2 Pikmin on our side, although we clearly don't. Maybe there are 4 in the field, it's hard to tell at this point. Whoa! That was really close. See, it's saying we have 3, and there are like 2 in the field. It doesn't make any sense. Another thing I should mention about this guy is that when you first see that egg of his, if you just rush with a bunch of Pikmin and attack it, I think that you can just crack it and kill it without the Progg coming out. Of course, I don't know why you would want to do that, because there is no reward. There is a reward for defeating this guy, and no, it's not a ship part, because it wouldn't make any sense. At last, my 31st ship part that I actually didn't lose. But you'll see what it is, because we are going to defeat him. And wow, you Pikmin are so lucky. You were almost just, like, trashed by that guy, but somehow you survived his poison fog. Assuming that is poison. Who knows, maybe if he returns in Pikmin 3, you can fight him with white Pikmin and not have to worry. That would kind of suck, though, because then he'd lose all of his prestige as a difficult, dangerous enemy. I think we've almost got him, though, and look, the Pikmin are, like, hitting him without really latching onto him. It's like baby's kids or something. And there we go. And he, like, burns up and leaves behind some kind of, like, golden acorn or a nut or a pearl or something. It's not really clear. Oh, yeah, and also these, the shearwigs are currently actually eating apart the bridge that we made, so I'll just show you that for a second. Come on, shearwigs, do your stuff. There, see? They're chipping away at the wood, and that's what's pulling back that bridge. So, if you leave, the distant spring or any other area with shearwigs near bridges away for, too long, they will start chewing apart the bridge. And the sweeping snitch bug is actually not noticing the Pikmin? How strange. Well, okay, that's fine by me. The less I have to worry about those, the better. And a puffy blowhog, of course. Might be a harmless enemy by this point, but I'm really hoping that it doesn't annoy me over this. Come on, just carry it back a little bit faster. No, no, go away, go away, go away. You're not welcome here. Who said you could get to my onions? Just because you saw the Smoky Progg do it doesn't mean that you can. Don't follow his example. Thank you. Wow, wow, an enemy actually listened to me for once. So see, when they bring this little orb back to the onion, it goes in, and now I'm going to put these Pikmin in so that I can show you the full capacity of its power. Look at that. 100 Pikmin seeds. That's going to take forever to pluck, so I'm just going to do that off screen and skip ahead. But, wow, that's a ton. We lost, like, I'm guessing, almost 40 Pikmin in that battle, though, so whether or not it's worth it, it's really up to you. It's not good if you're going for speed, because there's no reason to fight him, and he's really difficult to do with no deaths. So that's a Smoky Progg. 13 days since impact. The Pikmin always carry their prey back to the onions. Close observation indicates that taking food pellets to onions of the same color results in the release of larger numbers of Pikmin seeds. I've also found ways to group Pikmin by color. I can hold A to grab one for a moment, or I can press X to dismiss them all. Pretty rudimentary controls that we should be over by now. Alright, so those are all the enemies that I want to show you, and next episode, we're going to take on the final trial. See you then!